Alright, so let's jump into a game, see how it goes. What is on the ladder today? Mage. Alright, so this is a tricky matchup. Because first we have to figure out what kind of mage it is, right? I always try to look for a backstab. Because backstab is so good against the 3-2s that tempo mages play. So backstab is must to stabilize the early game against tempo mage. If it's freeze, you just really want the ramp heavy hand with things such as Pillager into Emperor into getting out the really early Malygos that just sits on the board. However, we have a very reactive hand, which means that if it's tempo, we can react to the tempo mage, which I think is good for us. If it's freeze mage, however, this is definitely not the hand we're looking at. I'm trying to make a read here of if it is a tempo mage. So when we see this card, we immediately just decide this is tempo mage. The question becomes now, how do I want to deal with this? What comes down on 3? I'm actually, since I only have this minion, well, I have this one as well, but you really don't want to drop this on 4 as a body. I'm preferring the Shiv hit here.
Here we go.
If he decides to drop a naked Flamewaker, we can just take it out easily and develop board ourselves. Which is what you want to do as rogue. You want to remove, you want to develop yourself. Hoping he plays another minion here. Okay. We might be dropping... Actually, here I do think it is right to just drop this here. It may be a 2-2, which, well, it is a 2-2, but it does also represent something the mage has to remove. So, in that sense... Alright, that's fair enough. Now we get the easy clear on the Waker, even though a little bit upset about not being able to develop the Pillager on curve here. Also want to be cautious of our life total against tempo mage, because at one point they just start ignoring your board and smork you down. And here I think it's pretty fair to say that our turn is going to be Drake, prep, Shadow Strike, because we do have the follow-up turn Pillager, Sap. In Rogue it's one of the most important classes to think a few turns ahead, at least one. Like sometimes you will even play a suboptimal turn this turn to make sure that your next turn goes more smoothly, which is really interesting because there's not many decks out there like this that works like that.
Hey, lights out.
And now we have the option to Abyss next turn. I go for the Shadow Strike over the Abyss just because of the mana cost. This is more flexible, and I tend to try to keep the hand as flexible as possible if I can. And this synergizes with Malygos because it can go face in the end. One thing that I find peculiar is that we had a discussion in a group Skype call in Complexity, where I feel like all of the Complexity, or most of the Complexity players that were there, were in consensus about Tempo Mage being a really bad matchup for Rogue. however, my experience on ladder, I've been playing this deck a lot this season, like almost non-stop. I feel like it's a very, very close matchup. I feel like it's definitely not one of those which is which you're going into it and feeling really unfavored. So it's weird how opinions can differ like that. You need to ping or something? Alright. Very interesting turn. I have a feeling a Flame Strike is coming down next turn. That's my first thought here.
So many.
And sadly I don't have a great way of playing around it. Well, I do have a way of playing around it, right? So we're going very aggressive here. The question is, do I want to sap that then or save the Abyss? I don't know. I just know that I'm making a big headwind here. I think I sap it here and save the burn.
Hey, lights out.
Here we go.
Like, if we're gonna choose the aggressive line, we should stick with it. If he Flame Strikes here, we're connecting for 9 again, putting him to 10, which means that the Abyss is probably gonna be a more important resource than the sap for us in hand. Yeah. He got that off the top though. But I felt like the thing we were the most vulnerable to was Flame Strike, so it was important for us to play somewhat around it. Give me some burn, maybe? That's insane. So basically this is how you beat Tempo Mage. You get rolling out on curve, call it a good day at the office, and voila. Oh, there, at least we got to cover some pretty good fundamentals here. We got to think a little bit about the mulligan. We got to plan out our turns, try to make efficient turns, and we also got to make a read this game. Like, going into turn 7 or big swing turns for the Mage, it's important to identify what you're weak against and how you best can play around it and how your strategy is gonna be. Like, do I keep the sap? Do I think I want to sap things? Or do I keep the Eviscerate? Because I do think I want to Smork Face. So all we need now is one combo card and we win. Well, actually no, we don't even need to combo it. So yeah, that's how you do that. Hope you enjoyed that little Mage matchup, and I'll be sure to try to break down some other matchups as well.